There's a scenic corner of northwestern Canada that appeals more to some visitors than others. A vacation land of majestic mountains and tranquil lakes. This sportsman's paradise is called the Yukon Territory, and many know it as the land of the midnight sun. Or, better still, as the Klondike, steeped in the memories of the Trail of '98 and the Gold Rush. Of course, some have the impression that it's all snow and ice, and part of it is some of the time. Others may feel that it's still just as it was when immortalized by Robert Service and Jack London, and populated mostly by wild game in a remote and challenging geography. But for those weary of crowded skyscraper cities, traffic jams, and smog, for those longing for sport and fun in an unspoiled wilderness, the Yukon is still the place to get away from it all. Today, visitors can arrive by air from various directions. By sea and rail via Skagway, and up the Alaska Highway from Dawson Creek, British Columbia. The year-round highway stretches over 1,500 miles to Fairbanks, Alaska, and is as significant to the modern Yukon as the 1898 gold rush was in developing a previously unknown wilderness. In addition to accommodations and supplies, there are numerous campsites and trailer parks along the highway. Most are located by streams or lakes and provide space for privacy, as well as toilets, tables and benches, cook stoves, and firewood. The summer climate is usually mild and dry. Daytime temperatures that range anywhere from 70 to 90 degrees above mean pleasant evenings. In these latitudes, in early summer, sunset and sunrise are only a few hours apart. An enthusiastic fisherman can look forward to 20 hours of daylight and a wide variety of species. In area, the Yukon is larger than all of the New England states combined. The first white settlers arrived in 1840 to establish a fur trade with the Indians. The capital city, Whitehorse, with a population of over 10,000, was named for the spray of the rapids, spray resembling the tossing mane of a galloping horse. This was halfway point to the gold fields, and many of the memories are preserved. Gigantic stern wheelers used to cruise the Yukon. Now the riverboat Schwatka echoes the past on the 5-mile trip through Miles Canyon, where hundreds of sourdoughs lost their duel with the swift current. After Whitehorse, it's 333 miles north to Dawson City. The promise of gold lured uncounted thousands this way, on foot, by horse or dog team, by river raft and flat-bottomed paddle stern wheeler. Further downstream, Five Finger Rapids was the final obstacle to overcome on the long trek to the City of Gold. The annual Discovery Day celebration commemorates the gold strike on August 17, 1896, with visitors and participants coming from all over the North.
Down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men.
It was in Dawson, in a tiny log cabin on the hillside, that the late Robert W. Service wrote many of his poems. Poems like The Spell of the Yukon, The Shooting of Dan McGrew, and The Cremation of Sam McGee. Within a few years of the strike, the character and atmosphere of the gold rush was gone, replaced by large hydraulic dredges to work and rework the rich creek beds. The initial discovery in 1896 was really only a few small nuggets of gold, and colors can still be panned from Bonanza Creek in just the same way. Palace Grand Theater opened in 1899, the year that saw $16 million in gold produced from Klondike Creeks. And gold dust was the only currency. The circle route from Dawson back to the southwestern Yukon climbs gently west into Alaska, the top of the world highway. After rejoining the Alaska Highway, you turn east to re-enter the Yukon at Beaver Creek, Canada's most westerly community. The Yukon is a land of contrast. The elevation varies from sea level in the north to almost 20,000 feet in the St. Elias Mountains, Canada's highest peaks. Mile after mile, the highway follows the shoreline of Kluane Lake. Largest in the Yukon, the lake holds northern pike, Arctic grayling, and lake trout. Further south, Sheep Mountain is named for the white doll sheep that live on the slopes. For those unwilling yet to complete the circle tour, Kathleen Lake Campsite lies off the main road. Framed by the St. Elias Range, the area conceals countless lakes and streams with a variety of fishing, everything from lake trout and grayling to hefty northern pike and rainbow. Many have tried to explain the spell of the Yukon, the sense of freedom and well-being in the atmosphere. Some say it's the clear freshness of the mountain air and the easy way of northern residents. Others believe it's the close association with nature and the friendly helpfulness necessitated by wilderness travel. But perhaps poet Robert Service describes it best.
It's the great big broad land way up yonder. It's the forests where silence has lease. It's the beauty that thrills me with wonder. It's the stillness that fills me with peace.